You got what I want, got what I want. You give me just one look and you know I'm good to go. You know I'm good to go.
Thank you for joining Minds of Commercial Real Estate. Today we have Steve Chang, our solar expert for commercial properties. Steve, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, Kim Yar.
Steve and I have worked on several projects for my clients. You know, after the clients have purchased a building, they're seeing what is the value of adding solar to their building versus what their costs are going to be. And today we're going to go a little bit more in depth why you should get solar, why you shouldn't, what are the benefits, the disadvantages, and Steve's expertise in the field.
You got it.
Steve, let's go with the basics. What is solar and why are people getting it?
Yeah, it's technically called photovoltaic. It's the technology of converting sunlight absorbed by the solar system and modules, and then it converts it to direct current electricity, which then gets inverted with that machine into alternate current that the property, either commercial or even residential, can use to power their building and home. So that's pretty much it. It's been this technology has been in existence for 3 decades plus. Even NASA uses them, as we can visually picture some of those satellites with those solar modules absorbing power from the sun while they're in outer space. So that's pretty much solar, in terms of its technical meaning and wording. So,
In terms of solar for commercial, depending on obviously what is the usage of that building,
right.
Why would somebody get solar in terms of, I want to speak about how the yearly increases in the utility bills,
right.
in the terms of depreciation for the client,
Yes.
and also the cost, the federal tax credit.
Definitely all the good incentives, right?
Correct.
You just named it all. The federal tax credit that was is 30%, and our good Congress recent years just passed it for another decade, where it's 30% every year for that decade.
Until when?
It was passed about 2022, and so I believe it's going to be to 2032. Let me double check that for us.
Sure.
So that's an easy search online.
Sure.
So
And could we go a little bit more in depth of how that 30% works?
definitely, anytime you purchase solar for your building or commercial property, you automatically qualify to have your accountant, tax professional claim that 30% for your solar purchase. And you can purchase it 2 ways, of course, cash or with a loan. Now, that's automatically, you qualify when you purchase your solar system for your building and property. And then how much you can utilize it will depend on how much your business would owe in terms of federal income tax after year 1 with the solar system. And so let's say a purchase price is $100,000 just for this podcast. And so you would have your tax pro claim that $30,000. And then that will be like a virtual credit with the feds for your business in tax purposes. And then so let's say after year 1 with solar, you file your business tax return and you owe, let's say, $10,000. Then you can use that $30,000 total tax credit, use it to pay that $10,000, and then you would still have $20,000 rolled over to the next tax years. So that's how that tax credit may work.
Got it.
Yes.
How does the depreciation work on a commercial property?
Oh, you know what? That one's a little bit more advanced for my consulting expertise, but that, again, you would discuss with your tax professional. The depreciation, as many people who do taxes know, it's 2 levels. First at the federal level, then the state level. And it's a good amount. It would have to, again, depend on your solar purchase price.
Sure.
And then your tax pro will be able to tell you what those depreciation amounts are. Again, both federal and then the state. And then that is the second incentive after the tax credit.
Now, on commercial properties, always the roofs on each one are different.
Right.
And depending on the usage of how big of a kilowatt the system is, how do we go and based on your, inspection, how do we go about it? Maybe a roof doesn't have enough space or it has too much space.
Right. Another good question. So just like we did for our recent client in the Topanga area, we just go up there with our tech like I did. I'm a very on-site kind of consultant. I don't just sell the project. I want to get up there, make sure that whatever open details that needs to be closed up are done with the tech and I during such survey. So that was fresh. That was last week. The way we do it is we'll get up there. We'll make sure that all the rooftop areas that are available for this solar system installation, we will measure it out. And then depending if it's a flat roof, which usually is for commercial buildings, we'll make sure we account for all the obstructions like AC, units, and other vents. And then once we decide what spaces are available for installation, then we'll see if that's enough roof square area for the size of system that we had pre-analyzed that building and usage needed. And so that's how we would go about that. The usage that we verified and the actual roof space for that building, see if it's enough. And here it is. Some projects where the roof space may not be enough. Well, we have a saying that as long as you can fit a substantial amount of what system size you need, such as 50, 75%, ideally to 100% offset of the usage and cost, it's better than not installing any size system where there is no chance of offsetting with the utility or getting any cost avoided.
What about in terms of how the utility bills in the vicinity here is typically LADWP or Southern California Edison, they have a certain amount of the prices going up every year.
Yes.
Versus going with solar where it's stable and after a certain amount of years it's paid off. How do those cost savings play?
Yeah, so the next good question. As we know, the utilities, they have this trend ongoing of hiking, right? The last one with the two notable ones in our Southern California area, Southern California Edison and LADWP, they experienced a different percentage in terms of rate hike. Edison, for short, they experienced a 17% hike. That was really the highest I've seen in a while. And while LADWP, they experienced a less hike rate. I think it was more in the 1.5%. We have the link. We can always review. But so with that said, they're going to hike ongoing. So that's why it's good for commercial property owners to get this complementary analysis, to then see how much this technology, solar, can help them offset their building's operation and this utility cost. And so that's pretty much, as long as you know the utilities are going to keep hiking, it's better to get this analysis soon than later.
How do the panels compare today versus, let's say, 2 years ago or 4 years ago in terms of technology and how much sun they attract?
I've been answering this question to clients for as long as I've been doing this, since 2011. Shortly after I had a system installed on my own home, that was preceded by the birth of my daughter. I knew right away, once that kid came out, that we had to transition as a state, as a nation, and world to these renewable energy systems. It's sustainable. Our kids and us will benefit. To go back to that original question, how has this solar module technology changed in the last recent years? So I've been answering it, and it has not increased in its efficiency for, let's say, X amount of past years, let's say 5 or 7. It was at 18% efficiency, each solar module. What that simply means is that the amount of sunlight that hits that solar module, it converts about 18% into usable electricity. Okay, so now fast forward to 2024, the efficiency has reached 20% plus. That's only a 2% increase. So, I've had to answer the many clients that say, hey, should I wait till they make a better solar panel? And so I said, well, for that 2% efficiency increase in the past X amount of years, would not wait because it's not substantial enough to keep you from benefiting from them being installed on your property or your home. So that's pretty much a firm answer for that question. Yes.
Steve, you go to a lot of site surveys, complimentary surveys, what is typically the hesitation you get from clients?
We didn't learn this in our, let's say, college or university days, like we learn many subjects. So I think that's all it is that there wasn't this education for this technology back when most people are going to college. Even today, I don't really see a solar course. I may be wrong. Kind of 1980s consultant. But the key there is that's my job as the solar expert is to tell this client, give him a crash course on this technology, what it can do for your property and offset the utility cost in your business operations. So once I have that conversation with them and go over the main points in terms of benefits, I see that wall of resistance to doing this does strategically come down. They go from not knowing what really is to, hey, I know this, like I took a crash course from Steve. So there you go.
Let's go through an example of pretending I'm a client. I just bought a building, only user, and I'm introduced to you, right? What is the first item it is that you need?
Yeah, the last 12 months of utility bills, the electric ones, in PDF, all pages, so that I can really verify what that property or home's last year's usage and cost is. And then that will allow me to design a system, a custom one, that property needs. So
if I just bought the building, let's say a month or 2 months ago, obviously I don't have the 12 months utility bills.
Right.
I can't ask the previous owner for their utility bills, but maybe my usage might be more or less.
Correct.
How do you go about it in those circumstances?
So then without a full year's electric bills, then we'll go off the square footage of that house. Then also ask you a bunch of questions about your usage habits. Are you a heavy electricity user? Are you light? Somewhere in the middle? Then from there, we can customize that solar system size and design according, again, to the square footage. We don't have the last year's worth of bills. And your usage level, either high, low, or medium.
So I give you 12 months of statements.
Yes.
For example, you review it. What is next step?
Yeah. Next step, you'll see my design. You'll make sure that you like it. If you don't, we'll figure out how to tweak it so that you can confirm it. Then after I finalize the design, and of course, we pick an option. Again, there's 3 options for solarizing your property or home. One, of course, is cash. It's the best if we got it. Second is a loan, either a solar one from one of our networks, and we have a whole network set up. Or you can get your local bank or credit union to provide you such loan for this home improvement. And then the third option is what we call a power purchase agreement, otherwise known as a PPA. And so that's where zero out of your pocket, you're getting the system installed. You're just agreeing to sign a install contract where you're paying monthly for your solar energy. That's equivalent to the quantity that you're using that they have verified. And then usually it's 30% less than your average electric bill. So that would be the next step, is to figure out what's the option that is best for you. after finalizing a design.
Let's say I choose to go cash.
Yes.
Then you come in, actually inspect the roof.
Yeah, you choose cash. Again, the best option. Still king if we got them for this project. And it's usually a quicker turnaround for a cash project. And so, of course, you give the deposit. It's $1,000. Then after that, we'll send our tech. And I usually do go again to survey together. Then once after the survey, we will go ahead and just finalize a solar plan for your approval. And then once that is achieved, then we will submit it to that city for getting the permit to install your system. So that's cash. Now with the two finance options, again, one's a loan, the other is a PPA. Those usually may take a little bit longer, but not much longer. We want to just figure out which option is best for your commercial project, and then go forth from there.
And typically when it goes to the city for these commercial projects, how long does the city take for approvals?
So that could vary. We've had projects in the Orange County as well as the San Gabriel Valley. We found that the ones in Orange County do typically take a little bit longer, such as that recent one that we had. And so really depends, but I'm going to say for commercial solar projects, the time window is usually 4 to 6 months because there is a little bit more planning time from these cities for commercial projects. It's just a bigger project compared to, let's say, a residential one. Yes. But we all, with Steve and my team and our installer partners and financing companies, we will try to expedite the best we can. That's why people would want to go with us.
What's your recommendation for people that own buildings or are buying buildings, in terms of solar? What is your, recommendation for them if they're not really accustomed to it, they don't know too much about it,
Right. First, that's a great question in this podcast. First, to qualify, the client needs to own the property in the building. So when they are looking for a building such as a warehouse, we have many clients and customers with such. You want to make sure that the roof is in good condition. What I mean is that it can last another 20 to 30 years. Not that it needs to be redone within the next 5 to 10 years. So that is a priority for potential prospect of your commercial building and property. Make sure that roof is in good to excellent condition. But still, if let's say the roof is not in ideal condition, there's many roofing partners that we have that can prep it, let's say with what we call a cool white roof coating for reasonable cost before we install the solar system on said building. So either way, we will try to make it work, but ideally you want a roof it's going to last another 20 to 30 years.
Got it.
Yes.
Any other advice you would like the viewers to know?
Yes. We know that solar, just a 5-letter word, the same end product as the electricity your property and building is using. Once we can get past that, allow us the chance to go ahead and just give you that crash course, show you the benefits with actual project numbers. We always say the earlier you get this analysis, the earlier you may benefit from this technology. Again, the NASA uses way back, and that their own federal government is giving you a 30% tax credit. They really want you to consider this. So,
well, thank you, Steve. Thank you for being on the show and for all the information.
You got it, Kamiar. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share any questions or comments in the comments below, and follow us on social media. I look forward to seeing you next time.